Welcome to this recap for the Miss Supranational 2023 finale. My name is Dani if you're new here, and if you like this episode, I hope you'll consider subscribing. First of all, I've attended this show in person, and I have to say the in-person performances are fantastic every year. It's a really great show, high quality of production, so I'm always very happy to see that. I think the contestants looked wonderful in the opening outfits. It was really interesting to kind of see that their outfits were a little bit different by their region. Personally, I do wish that they would have rotated the contestants around the stage a bit more. It seemed like the ladies were just stuck in their places, and wherever they were placed, they were there. I personally think that every contestant, especially for an opening number, should be rotated to the front directly in front of judges. After the opening, the edited version, so not the live version, cut to a national costume show, and I can't remember if they did the same thing last year. I would assume that they did. I can't remember because I was there in person, so I just sat there for a commercial break when this was happening. But I really do like the way that they edited that into the beginning of the show and how they do their national costume. It's pretty quick, pretty fast paced, so I think that's very smart on the production / editing side of this. This year, Photogenic went to El Salvador. Congeniality went to South Africa, which I can totally see. Just look at her in that contagious smile. Love her. Talent went to Korea, and Best National Costume went to Thailand. I did have her think that the announcement of these awards was really strange backstage because essentially there was no mystery to it. They had the contestants in a very small group and they pulled from that small group for the results. Then we had the first performer of the show. Excellent job here, and I can remember last year one of the performers did this James Bond number that I really enjoyed. It was so fun. I wish that I was able to make it back this year. I couldn't do it. It was out of the budget, friends. By the way, if you missed some of my prelims recap for Supramodel, Swim, and Gown, you can find all of those in the cards. Next, they had their Supra Global Fashion Show. Now, I don't know if this was scored. I don't think it was because it happened so quickly. It was so fast. And last year, I don't quite remember this, or I feel like the top 12 got an extra walk in their fashion outfits. So I think that changed a little bit this year, but I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. If you're really loving this episode, you should consider joining memberships where you can get access to exclusive content, including the extended version of this episode. Next, we were really getting into the show. We're really getting into the good parts, what people were waiting for, the reveal of the top 24. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. Here's what I like about how they do this breakdown though, and I think it's important to pay attention to, especially if you're considering, is this a pageant I want to compete in? I like that they have a top 20 that qualifies based off of their preliminary scores. Then they have an additional 4 that make this cut, and these 4 make that cut because they won other special awards. The first special award was the Contestant's Choice, and I love that. The other ladies get to vote for her. That's special. And that went to Curaçao. The Supra Chat Challenge winner was Philippines. No surprise, she's an incredible speaker. Supramodel winner was Zimbabwe. Also, no surprise, I was obsessed with her. You can see in the other episode. And then the Influencer Award, so all of her online fans really helped her out, went to Brazil. If you watched the full show, let me know in the comments how you felt about the top 24. Were there any ladies that surprised you that made it in or were excluded out of the top 24? Because for me, there were a few. For example, Czech Republic, I thought could have been up there. She had such great stage presence. Also, Cote d'Ivoire, loved her. Other surprises, USA, obviously going to be a sentimental favorite, but she did well. Then we have Namibia, Togo. I loved Togo. Oh my gosh. And the Bahamas as well. Those were ladies that I could have easily seen in that top 24. One thing about Supra is their competitions for finals go so fast. It's like a blink of an eye. So I'm going to give you all the thoughts very quickly. Brazil, gorgeous, still gorgeous. Loved her in prelims, loved her here. Great, solid performance. Colombia, also solid performer. I was like, wow, this is a strong opening, loving it. Dominican Republic, still strong, just like she was at prelims. The eyes, beautiful, the way that she can smize, and that pivot, she nailed it. Ecuador, gorgeous. All right, still strong, solid performer. By the way, if you didn't know or catch it, she was first runner-up at Miss Grand International 2021, so she is a seasoned competitor. She also really gives me Gabriela Isler vibes. I don't know if you were feeling that, but that's what I'm feeling from her. India, if you watch my recaps, you know how obsessed I am with her, okay? I loved her, but when you win these international pageants, it's really, really got to be your night. What does that mean? It can mean that those camera angles really got to be working for you. You got to get all of those things. And I felt like for her, she walked really fast. She missed that key moment with the cameras, and that can be pivotal because the judges might miss that. Yes, they can see you live, but when they have that screen in front of them and they're seeing those up close shots and you miss that, that's a missed opportunity. So I was just bummed about that because I was so obsessed, and in my head she was in my top 5. Malaysia, gotta say, nice cape handling here. Okay, very confident, loved her. Mexico, I thought this was even better than prelims, and I really, really loved her little over the shoulder, just like look, her little head tilt, it was perfect. Peru is very naturally beautiful to me, and when I was watching her, I was like, gosh, you just remind me of Trump era queens at Miss Universe. Those are the vibes she was giving to me. Philippines was good, but she did surprise me because I felt like the energy was off. That's the best way that I can describe this, where it was like a solid performance, but I wasn't getting the feeling from her in that moment for this that she really, really wanted this. Poland, great job. Honestly, love her walk. Just loved her throughout the competition. I think she's solid. Puerto Rico, very Latina. This is the performance that I would expect from her. I really, really liked it. She deserved to move on, in my opinion. El Salvador, very, very beautiful, still has perfect hair. Oh my gosh, hair, goals, loved her, but she did also miss those facials with the camera. It was just like a missed moment. Thailand was finally smiling a bit more for swim, and that made me very happy, and she always has a strong walk, so I still loved her. UK, I thought this was just a very clean performance. I really, really liked it. I could immediately see her advancing. Venezuela, I much preferred this performance to her preliminary one. I felt like for preliminaries, with certain things or with her wardrobe, like arms were a little bit all over the place, but this was exactly what I was looking for from a Miss Venezuela. I loved it. Vietnam, great performance for finals. I thought she had such a lovely smile, and I remembered she was supposed to be in my gown prelims episode, and when I was editing it, I realized that I forgot to talk about her in that episode. So all I want to say though, backtracking, is I loved her preliminary gown performance. I thought that that gown was absolutely gorgeous and incredible, and that really stood out to me, and I did prefer the gown performance over the swim one for prelims. Zimbabwe, oh my gosh, she is so stunning. Can she just go to Miss Universe? Do they have a franchise there? I can't remember right now. I'm obsessed with her. I love her. Also, I really like the all-white outfits that they wore for the top 12 announcement. It looked like they all got to pick those because there were subtle differences between them, but I thought they looked fantastic. Miss Venezuela years ago did an opening number where they all wore a beautiful white suit look, and it was fabulous. The first to be called into the top 12 was Vietnam, and we found out that she was the fan vote winner. After getting called into the top 12, the contestants had 20 seconds to share with the audience and the judges why they believe that they should be the next Miss Supranational. The first to speak was Puerto Rico. I think she was great. She shared about losing her father to a health condition, how she's passionate about helping others with their health conditions, and that's what she wants her legacy to be. She did a great job here, frankly, but I will say that there wasn't anything especially memorable about the content that she did share. Next was Mexico. She would have gotten a fantastic score from me, by the way, for what she said, which was that being a Miss Supranational means that you're seen and heard, and that makes her aware of the power of the crown. She says she's ready to continue inspiring women to be the best version of themselves so that nothing and no one can ever bring them down. She was very confident when she delivered this. I was a very big fan after this. India, oh my goodness, it just wasn't the night, and I'm so sad. She said that we're living in a global crisis, but it's also the greatest time for possibility, and that she cares about sustainability, and that she is passionate, but she got cut off, and she was doing so well. Like, it was sounding so good, but we didn't really get to hear the end of it. Philippines shared that she was a three-peat contestant at her national pageant. She talked about how she had been body shamed and the value of her voice and the importance of keeping it kind. She says that's the same voice that she'll use to share stories of strength so that others can overcome as well. She did a really great job with this. She nearly got cut off, and I will say the ladies that spoke into the microphone with the male host, that as soon as that timer was going off, he was really pulling that mic from them. I felt pretty bad versus the female host. She was giving them a second or so to wrap up that last sentence that she could hear that they were finishing. So I think that hurt quite a few contestants. UK shared about being sexually assaulted and experiencing bullying. She said that she could have let those experiences diminish her, but instead she found strength and power in using her voice to help other women who've experienced similar things. This taught her that our experiences in life don't have to define us or hold us back, but they can strengthen us. Honestly, fantastic job. Super strong. This for me was an immediate pass to the top 5. Now, Ecuador shared that she was raised by a single mom, and because of this, she has become an independent woman. She says that if she becomes Miss Supranational, that she wants to show other young women that they can be whatever they want. At the end in Spanish, she also said that she wants to share this to the world and to Ecuador, and then she said, yes, we can. So very encouraging message. She also was getting cut off a little bit, but she barely made it in time. Brazil did an excellent job. She said, I strongly believe that education is freedom. I'm a medical doctor, a nutritionist, and an actress, and I also graduated with a degree in marketing. I am a free woman living my choices. I'm here to show that through education and hard work, we can achieve anything. Now, this was great. It was fantastic. I do wish she would have smiled a little bit more, though. I think it would have just softened the delivery. Vietnam said that this is not a competition, but this is a place to learn and to be a better version of yourself every day. And then she added that she loves the people and loves the food. Now, this was kind of surprising to me that she advanced to the top 5 because she did seem quite nervous. She seemed very, very sweet, but very nervous. So, kind of a surprise. They had a very quick walk for evening gown, not quite like that Miss Universe moment, if you know what I mean. So Vietnam, I thought that she had a really beautiful gown, beautiful walk. I also love that she wore the colors of her flag in this dress. I thought that was really cool. That would have been awesome for a win for them. That would have been amazing. Now, Brazil, I love this color on her and the styling. We are still seeing quite a bit of that like Viva magenta type of shade here in pageantry, and I'm loving it. I'm living for it. I also saw, I know that Venezuela didn't advance, but she also had like a really beautiful ombre pink gown, and I loved it. Netherlands really surprised me here with this performance. I thought that she did good in prelims, but I just thought that this finals performance was really where she shined. But it was beautiful, but the camera missed her. What in the world? The camera angles were not working for everybody that night, and it's not fair, but it did happen. But I do think it can sway judges here and there if you don't get that moment. Ecuador did not change her gown, and that's pretty rare for international competitions. But you know what? She looked stunning. She looked beautiful. I loved her still. UK was lovely, and I have to say she really had a moment. Like, she made a moment for herself. She took that time on the runway, and I loved it. Philippines, this was a turning point moment for me. Oh my gosh. First of all, I have to say, I am obsessed with this gown. This is so unique. This is one of those dresses that you see it and you might, like, before the pageant, and you might not think, oh gosh, that's gonna be a great pageant dress, but oh my gosh. It was so unique. This reminded me of when Zozabini wore that blue and brown gown to finals at Miss Universe. Such a unique style. This was kind of giving, it doesn't look like that gown, but I'm saying it's kind of giving me those vibes of a dress that is so different and so unique, and I absolutely loved it. This has to be my favorite dress that I've ever seen her wear. I was just absolutely obsessed with it, but I would love to know what your thoughts were on this dress in the comments, and let's keep it kind. Remember that. I loved it. However, though, I just wish that they would have, like I've said in other episodes, like pull the hair from behind the ears and just bring it forward. I'm obsessed with her gown. Anyways, gown was fantastic. She looked like she was loving it, so I loved it. India had a great performance for gown, but I think at this point it was probably too late because she got cut off earlier in the top 12. Also, I wish she would have wore a brighter shade of purple if she was going to go with the purple. I thought it was a little bit dark for her, but it was a beautiful style. She looks stunning still. Mexico, I wasn't a fan of the necklace, but I did really love the gown and more so the performance. That's what's really important. I don't know if you noticed though, this dress reminded me of the gown that Gabriela Isler wore for her farewell at Miss Universe. Kind of gave me those vibes. Puerto Rico, we're seeing more of that Viva Magenta, and honestly, this was lovely. I loved it. I thought she was great. I just think that other people edged her out when they all got to speak for the top 12. It's tough, and some harsh cuts are made there. For our top 5, we have Vietnam, Ecuador, United Kingdom, Philippines, of course, and Brazil. At this point, were there any shocks for you in the show? Were you surprised by anything? Let me know in the comments. Honestly, I could have seen Peru or India up there at the top 5, but I also get it. Just that's a tough cut at that top 12. That moment when they speak on stage, it's defining. For the final question, each of them were asked, what makes a great brand ambassador for the Miss Supranational organization? They each had their headphones on and then they answered individually. First answer was UK. She said, I believe the quality that is required of a great brand ambassador is relatability. I think that I have stood on this stage and I stand here with the message that our experiences don't have to define us, but they can strengthen us. This is the message that I want to take globally. I want to continue to work with women across the globe, to continue to support and empower them through the obstacles that they have had to overcome in life. And I think that this mixed with my own story is the relatability that makes an incredible brand ambassador and someone that will make people feel not only seen but heard. And I think that this is the power of a beauty queen. Now, she spoke very, very well. But here's where I feel like the downfall was for her and what I think affected her scoring. First, she opened talking about relatability. Not the worst thing that you can say, but I will tell you it is a very, very overused adjective in interviews. I hear it again and again and again and again. So it's not gonna really make you unique. Then she went from that to essentially rephrasing what she already shared in the top 12. If you overbrand in a pageant, now you're gonna sound rehearsed and you're not gonna sound as spontaneous or authentic. Perfect example of this, I think, would be the year that Olivia Culpo won Miss USA. Her first runner-up was Maryland, who was Nana Merriweather, a former competitor in California that went on to compete in Maryland, win that, and she placed first runner-up. Now, she did a great job of branding herself as a volleyball player and sharing about her personal story, but we heard that every single time we saw her on TV. We heard it over and over and over again. And when that happens, I tell a lot of contestants, at that point, you're a one-trick pony. You got one thing to offer, and you're basically only showing one side of yourself. But the reality is that we're all multi-dimensional, and you should be striving to share about those different sides, those different facets of yourself. Share about that with the judges and the audience. And so whenever I hear contestants go back to something that they just said and all they're doing is like repackaging what we've already heard, I think it really hurts them and it can affect placement, like I believe it did in this case. Next was Philippines. She said it would be dedication. Dedication to this journey, dedication to the people who brought her here in this journey. And when she said that, I thought that's such a Filipina answer. I feel like, and that's what I love about Filipinas and really Filipino and people in general, is they appreciate the people who have supported them in their journey, and they're not forgetting those people and they're not forgetting their roots. And we hear a lot about that in their interviews, and I'm a real big fan of that. So when I heard it, I was like, yes, like that I loved. She continued to say, and dedication, of course, to the organization that she'll end up working with. This is such a beautiful experience. She has to be someone who can bring people together, someone who knows that this is not a one-woman journey. We all have our differences, but we also realize that we have so much in common, and we are now gathered here on this stage, transcending our own borders, bringing nations together. So I thought this was a very solid answer. I think that she could have actually personalized it a little bit more. So she's essentially describing what she believes is a great brand ambassador for the organization. Great, that's exactly what they asked her to do, but it's a pageant. So I think that she could have shared a little bit more about her personal experience and how she is a great brand ambassador. But overall, I loved it, and it's not just what she said, it's how she says it. And this is the more of the type of answer I was expecting from her at Miss Universe Philippines. So I was still very pleased with this performance. Brazil said, my personality is something that I can say is different and powerful, and I am totally able to work with a powerful organization to continue this amazing job, to inspire women from all over the world. I am a leader. I know who I am, I know what I want. I am a free woman. And I am totally able to motivate people and inspire people from all over the world to work together and fight for their dreams and fight for their fight. Now, she got a little slipped up at the end. I don't know if she meant to say and fight for their fight. It kind of shook her, but she recovered very well from that. It wasn't a huge deal. But if you notice here, this is another example. She goes right back to what she said in that top 12, the point of I am a free woman. She said the exact same phrasing here again. Personally, I would especially not say something word for word, but try to offer up different information for your onstage question. Ecuador said, for me, working with Miss Supranational organization would be the greatest honor of my life. I would travel around the world carrying its legacy. I would really love to start my own foundation to help single moms to find employment. But one of the most important things for me, the Miss Supranational platform makes me accomplish one of the biggest dreams of my life, which is to study medicine, to become a doctor, and continue helping people. Thank you so much. So she sounded very sweet in this delivery, very, very authentic, and she really felt like she was speaking from the heart. And this is very important. We need to note this. At the beginning, before they all shared their answers, the host said, we are not looking for a perfect answer. We are looking for authenticity. The way that she delivered this was with authenticity. And if that is the standard for which they are selecting their title holders, I really believe that is what helped her edge out everybody else in this competition. The way that she answered was different from everyone else. Vietnam said, today I'm standing here. I'm ready to take on this responsibility by being the next Miss Supranational. And I missed something else that she said. She said, by something for community and to be an example of inspiring women, not only in my country, but also around the world. Now, she looked like she was about to cry when she was saying this answer. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if she was emotional, if she was nervous, or kind of what was going on there, but I do think that that affected placement. And then they announced the continental winners, and I love this. So the continental winners, the ladies who didn't make it into the top 5, but they had the top scores for their region. So the winners were, for Africa was Zimbabwe, for Asia was India, for the Americas was Peru, which I was like, yep, that makes sense. For the Caribbean was Curaçao, and for Europe was Gibraltar. I was thinking though, do they have any roles? Like, do they travel at all if they are a continental representative? I don't know. Or if there's any perks to that. I'll quickly say too that Laleila's farewell was beautiful. I could listen to her speak all day. She's always so stunning. Love her. Here were the results. 4th runner-up was Vietnam. 3rd runner-up was UK. 2nd runner-up was Brazil. 1st runner-up was Philippines, and the new Miss Supranational 2023 is Ecuador. So congratulations to all of those ladies. I have a couple of thoughts. If Philippines were to win, what was interesting is that South Africa would have crowned Philippines just like in 2018. South Africa crowned Catriona Universe, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, fan pages would have went crazy with that footage. That would have been really cool, but it is what it is. Pauline still did an incredible job representing the Philippines. She should be so proud of herself. I know it's a really tough position to be in, and you could see that she was a bit emotional when they crowned Ecuador, rightfully so. What I love though is that she congratulated Ecuador. You could see the emotion on her face. Obviously she wanted to win for herself and for the Philippines, but she was so gracious. And one thing that pageantry has taught me is that it's not about how you win, it's about how you lose. And you will really see people's true colors when they lose. It is so easy to win a pageant, okay? And I don't mean easy to get to that position, but I mean like winning, it's like once you win, it's like, oh my gosh, of course you're gonna be happy, of course you're gonna be thrilled and pleased, right? Things went your way. But when things don't go your way on a particular day, you really get to see people's true colors. And I just love how she handled herself. It was beautiful. She set a great example to other young women, and it makes me really, really emotional. Those are tough life lessons that pageantry teaches you, and I found a lot of value in that. Learning how to lose gracefully, I think, is more important than winning, honestly. Well, if you enjoyed this, I think that you'll enjoy those ones too. I hope that you check them out. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode, and I hope to see you very soon.